What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning into the CTE podcast. I'm your host, Andres. This podcast is brought to you by CTE Coffee Roasters. CTE Coffee Roasters is a fair trade or organic coffee roaster that specializes in getting you a fresh cup of coffee in a quick manner, roasted fresh, delivered to you. Visit them at www.ctecoffeeroasters.com. I'm asking you guys a question, right? Why should you read every day, right? I found myself a while back. I was kind of stuck. I didn't really know what I was doing. Kind of like I didn't have my head on straight. I was kind of in a fog. So it turns out my brain was on autopilot. So I was just going through the motions, right, doing things, right. I wasn't like a bump on a log, right. I was just doing my job, going home, hanging out with the family, right, not really doing anything that was challenging my brain. I was just checking the things off my to-do list, right. But once I started reading, all that changed. And when I say reading, I don't mean things that you have to do during the day. This was reading for leisure or self-help or things that you read with a purpose to improve yourself or for the sake of reading, right? It wasn't something like, for work, right? You have to read things to do your job. This was aside from that, right? So not only because you learned something new, but mainly because you're exercising the most important part of your body, the most important muscle, your brain. That's why you should read every day. So here are 6 reasons why you should read every day, right? Number one, it slows down the aging in the brain. Research shows that doing creative or intellectual activities such as reading can slow cognitive decline by 30%. And who doesn't want to do that, right? When you get to the golden years, right, you want to have all your scruples, all your marbles, and reading will help you accomplish that. Reduces stress. Reading can help reduce your stress by taking your mind off things you're worried about, right? If you immerse yourself in a good book, you can forget about real life for a while. And you want to give your brain something else to think about besides all the stuff you have to do on a day-to-day basis, right? It can encourage you to do something new. If you're reading like an inspirational story, right, or you read about someplace new, by reading about them, you can think about wanting to do those things or go to that place. So you might decide you want to be a traveler after reading a story, or you want to pick up a new hobby after you read a story. So it helps you out by expanding what you think you can do, right? It makes you smarter. 5 to 15% of the words we learn come from reading. So even if all you do is read romance novels, you can have a high probability of learning something new. So you want to read a lot of different things so you can learn a lot of different ways to speak, and a lot of different you might learn something from a book that you know you wouldn't think you would learn, but you won't know until you start reading, right? It improves your brain health. Each part of your brain is assigned a different task, right? You have vision, language, etc. They all work together to help you function. So if you neglect an area of the brain, like the part you use for reading, your whole brain suffers. So it's like an old school bridge, and you have the keystone, right? But they're all held together by the pressure from the one next to it. So if there's something wrong with one of the stones in your bridge, right? If it's not strong, it'll crumble, and then your whole bridge will come down, right? Same thing happens to your brain. You have a lot of different parts in your brain, right? They all support each other. They all have their own function, but they also support each other, right? So you want to make sure all the areas are strong so your whole brain is strong. It'll help you save money. As a form of entertainment, it's relatively inexpensive reading. And if you get a library card, it can be free. So compared to the movies or a concert, it's a cheap date, right? You can go to the library, you can pick up, rent, check out books for free, right? If you get a subscription service to, a reader or a Kindle, you can get a lot of books for a flat fee, right? So it's still cheaper than going out to dinner, going to movies, going to a ball game, right? Those are kind of expensive now. So as a form of entertainment, reading is free. So how do you implement this in your life, right? Here are a few suggestions. Schedule it on your calendar. This is what I did. So like a 30 to 15 minute appointment on your calendar is a great place to start, right? You put in your calendar, you get a reminder when you need to start reading. Set a per day or per month, like book or chapter or word goal. So, that way it isn't like every day you do it, but you know that by the end of the month you have to read a book. Or by the end of the week you have to read 2 chapters, and every week you do that. So that way it isn't an everyday thing, but you know that in whatever time you set, whatever period you set, you have to do this thing. Right? So no matter what method you choose, reading is a great form of self-improvement and entertainment. Give it a try, you'll see results in no time. So I still continue to read. I dabble around with different things, and some things I read for entertainment, some things I read for learning, some things I read for business. But you have to read lots and every day and often, and make it a habit so that you can you never stop. You never stop learning. So that's the podcast for the vlog for this week. If you have any questions, you can contact me at andres.thectepodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time.